himself to you guys. He is the owner and president of Service Master. I thought it was cute that when we were trying to talk about sales, he said, hey, talk about sales. He's like, I want to talk about increasing sales. And I was like, okay, so what's your title gonna be? Immediately he says, increasing sales through service. Very first thing he said, he actually had a different title for this. At first, it was gonna be service, the key to the lifeline of your business, something like that. I said, David, you're supposed to be talking about sales. He says, how do you talk about sales without talking about service? Okay. And so immediately I said, you know what? I think you might be the right one for this presentation. Now he's done everything. He started out as a sales rep, moved up to a manager, said, you know what? I think I can do this. Let me branch off into being an entrepreneur. Then he became a consultant. Now he does public speaking and he does mentoring. All right. So this is not just somebody that, you know what I'm saying, we found off the street that was going to come in and work for food. This is somebody who believed in it. And we had some talks because I will tell you, when I deal with certain businesses, and I won't call anybody out, but if your sign says you open at 10, what do I expect? What time do I expect you to go?
10 to 5.
Okay, I expect at 10 o'clock. Now you might let me sit outside until 10 o'clock, but at 10 o'clock, what needs to happen? These doors need to open. That's why Dad said, y'all give us to 5:30. 5:30, I was running over there trying to open that door because it's frustrating. It's frustrating when you go somewhere and you had your heart set on a potato. Oh, we out of potatoes today. You was out of potatoes last week too. Oh man, you should have came earlier. I did. So when we talk about service, there's a stigma that certain businesses don't know what service means. And then what do we see happen? Those businesses go out of business. How many times have you intentionally driven past an establishment to a different establishment, even though the other one was closer, just because you got better service? We all do it. I used to run Walgreens. Any Walgreens you've ever been in, I ran it, I promise you. Okay, I was a district manager of pharmacy operations, and all the time there would be disparities in my stores. Why? They look the same, they carry the same products, they price the same. So why would people drive past one Walgreens to go to another? Because of the service. Okay, so this gentleman here is going to spend some time talking to you about the reason you may not have sales may be because of your service. That being said, I've done enough talking. I'm gonna turn this over to David. Take it away.
Thank you. Like I said, this is going to be interactive. We're going to talk about customer satisfaction. How many of you have heard the term the back door?
I don't know what to say, right?
I'm about to say that might be kind of hold on.
So in sales, we always say you got to close the back door. Because when you are out and you're focusing on sales and you're generating opportunities and you're closing deals, if your customer satisfaction isn't good, your competitor can come in and talk to your customer through the back door, and your customers generally leave out the back door. Especially if you don't have a customer support center where they can, give their opinion on the service, or they can vent their frustration. Somehow, somewhere, you got to close the back door so your customers aren't leaving as fast as you're winning them. Because it's easier to maintain and grow your sales with existing customers than spending a lot of money on the front end doing marketing to find another customer. That's the very reasons that banks have gone to what they call PEARLs, which are personal URLs. And they pretty much have customized URLs specifically for you because they've studied your habits. So as opposed to going to another bank to get a loan or a credit card, they know what your spending habit is. They know what your payment habit is. So they focus on trying to generate more sales opportunities out of existing customers while they continue to look for new customers. So what we're going to talk about is getting to know you. We're going to talk about sales, and sold. We're going to go into the sales cycle. We'll talk about the 4 different types of selling. And then we'll talk about, some action items where you got power, customer sat, and customer service, and then we'll wrap up. So on my first slide, it's going backwards. And this is interactive. Like I said, I have a lot of questions, so don't think we're not going to talk. So how many people think they're good salespeople? Good. So we got 2, 3.
Well,
All right.
like I said, great.
Okay, we got one great one.
My bad.
All right. We got one great. Too good? You just regular, so we're gonna put you in good. So at least everyone feels like they can sell. How many people hate selling? So we got 3 people that hate selling. And we're gonna talk about that because we were all born to sell. We just have to learn our style of selling. Because at the end of the day, we've been selling since we've been born. And sometimes it's the reaction of a baby crying, and they keep crying until the parent figures out what's wrong with it. But everybody, it's good, everybody identifies that they could sell. So does anybody know the difference between sell, and sold? Without looking at the sheet. I'm gonna go back.
You need the definition of,
Definition, difference, what do you think? Because in the English language, it's probably one of the most complex language. Because we have a lot of words like synonyms that sound the same, that are different. I was always one of those individuals until, I had to go through English to understand, when do you use two, and two? Y'all know the difference? TO, TOO, and TWO. They all sound the same, but they're different, right?
Right.
And that's the same thing when you look at when you're selling versus sales versus sold. Most of the time when we hear the term sale, we're thinking of a retailer because they have a big sale. You see the sign, SALE, it's a sale. Girl, Black Friday, it's a sale. Most of the time when you see that, it's a specific exchange of a commodity or service. It's more like a transaction because you already know the price, you already know the benefits, you already know the feature, you already know you want it. It's on sale, it's your right price. Then you get into the term sell, SELL. Now all of a sudden, you gotta come with some kind of conversation because I might not be excited about it because it's not like a price is public. It's not as if, what I need is the same thing as Johnny. Now you gotta sell me. You gotta convince me that your product's better than your product. We were all in a sales mode when we were talking about why would you go with this versus this chair versus the sweet tea. We were selling because now we're talking about the features, the benefits, and of why one person would do this. One of the reasons people don't like selling is because they feel like they have to deceive or convince or persuade somebody to do something they don't want to do. That's the stigma that sales has. Because we grew up in a society where we always saw car dealerships. You would go buy a car, but you didn't know the price until the end. And so they tried to convince you that you needed all these bells and whistles on your vehicle in order for you to have the right car. And then all of a sudden, they never really wanted to tell you what the true price was. They sold you on the monthly price. We call that reducing it to the ridiculous. Because now I'm trying to figure out, how can I sell you this $50,000 car for $239 a month, right? And then all of a sudden, you out on the line, you're like, man, I can afford $239. But then when you get to the finance guy, it's $580. And you're like, how did you get to $580? But once again, they put in your mind, okay, good, better, best. I'm gonna keep adding stuff. Now all of a sudden, the $239, that had cloth seats. I'm about to move you up to, you look like you like leather, don't you?
sunroof.
Sunroof, power windows, remote start. They gonna move you up in that sales cycle. That's the very reason people feel like they're being tricked or deceived. Because now all of a sudden you keep stepping me up on something that I may not want. But because you've moved me from $239 to $580, it don't feel good. But you still want it, right? That's one of the reasons people don't like selling. And then sold, once again, once you've made a decision on something that you really didn't want or you felt deceived, now you feel like you've been sold to. I didn't really want all that, but you sold it to me, right? Once again, that's where customer service comes in, because now somehow, some way, I have to get you to feel comfortable with paying $580. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to go get the car, because at some point, you're gonna really feel bad and you're gonna be like, I ain't paying it no more. So now you feel like you've been sold to, you've been lied to, and you've been persuaded to do something that you don't want to do or that you have that you can't afford. And so now people feel like, oh, selling's bad, selling's bad. That's why I always say you have to find your style of selling so that you're comfortable presenting your product to other people in a way that they feel like you're adding value to their lives with what you sell. Does that make sense? All right. I said this was gonna be exciting, but then I started talking about selling and why you don't like selling. Y'all like, yeah, I just bought this car. All right. So whoever felt like they've been sold to? We all have, right? It didn't feel good. Now, how long do you think that person's gonna be a repeat customer if they continue to feel that way?
One time.
One time, because you feel like you got me. So I'm not going back there. I'm not gonna buy another pickle because John got me. He told me this one had a peppermint in it, and it don't.
It depends on the customer too, though.
Yeah, it does. It depends on the customer, right? Because we've been convinced that customers are always right, but not all the time, right? But we gotta show them. So we're gonna talk about the sales cycle. How many people have sold professionally in their lives? Like been a sales rep, carried a bag? You did? Okay, you had a quota?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough with a quota, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's sink or swim,
Or they get rid of it.
or they're gonna get rid of you. Boom. That's how you should feel as a business owner. When you set your quota at the beginning of the year and you spread it out across the year and you don't make your number in January, and then February, you don't make your number, and in March, you need to come up with an action plan. Otherwise, you need to get rid of yourself. You need to go hire somebody to sell what you got. Because otherwise,
But don't worry, the logo, they'll say, come on.
yeah. But if you carried a bag and you had a quota, it don't feel good when you're behind the 8 ball. But when you making your number and you in the accelerator, you're like, damn, go get this. You know, your stride different. You come in the office, you talking trash. What you sell today, dog? I ain't sell that.
Well, you'll know that.
Yeah, you know, so it's different. It's different when you carry a bag. And as business owners, we have to sit down and put ourselves on a quota. You know how much money or how many sales you want to generate this year. And I would probably say we need to start thinking about what's our sales target for 2023. If you have historical data based on the growth of your business for the last 2 or 3 years, you can look and see what percentage growth you've been able to achieve. And at a minimum, that's what you need to say you're gonna do next year. And then you need to look at the seasonality of your sales. Because sometimes we just come up with a number and then we divide it by 12. Well, wait a minute. I got a seasonal kind of product, right? John, people buy the same amount of pickles every day?
People are seasonal.
Huh?
People are seasonal.
People are seasonal.
Money is seasonal.
So when you look at your numbers for your pickles, you sell more pickles during the summer or more during the winter?
During the spring and the summer.
During the spring or the summer. So when you look at your quota, you need to be driving more revenue from May until the end of September. I would even push it out to the end of October because you need to be selling pickles at the football game, right?
Right.
That's the audience. So when you look at dividing your revenue across those 12 months, you need to understand the seasonality of your business. And a lot of that you're going to go back and look at your historical data and then build that out according to what you've done in the past. Because now you have the knowledge, all right? So basically, when we look at where is our next sales opportunity coming from, the biggest thing we gotta do is figure out how do we get prospects? And that's in marketing. So that's gonna be a totally different topic. That's what he can talk about. Because you gotta find the prospect. So when people always say, what's your target market? I don't know. But you got a target market. I just gave you one, football game. People come out of the game, going in the game, they want something different. They want something they can afford, because when they go on the other side of that gate, a pickle might be $10. You selling them for $5, but yours better. But you can't go in there and sell it to them because they capped it. Right? Bit different. So you gotta look at, how am I gonna prospect? Where am I gonna find the next person that needs my product that I can show value to? All right? Then we gotta qualify. One thing I had to learn in life, everybody can't afford your service. That's why they do that same approach I just said. Good, better, best. And everybody, sometimes as entrepreneurs, we start working with the numbers. Oh, I gotta get this deal. And you taking your profit away because your costs don't change, right? Cat cable costs the same whether you sell it for $100 or whether you sell it for $95. Yep. But what happened? That $5 difference, as an owner, you absorb that. Not the customer, not the vendor. You just basically said, I'm gonna give up $5 of my money because I want this deal. But you have to qualify your customers based on the benefits that you can bring to them. And your benefits should also be tied to value, right? Don't you think your soap is valuable? Yeah, because if people don't use soap, they're gonna smell. But somehow you gotta outsell Zest, right? Because otherwise they say, I can go get some Zest, it's cheaper. But no, this handmade. Oh, okay. All right, this got fragrance. Then you gotta come up with your proposal or your quote or your offering. So what's special about your pickles? Why would I want to get a dope pickle?
Best Kool-Aid pickles in the world. Try mine, I change your mind.
Okay, that sounds good. But what's different about it?
All I can tell you is the best in the world.
Okay, so if you were at a football game, and I'm just using that as an example, wouldn't it be great if you sliced up 4 or 5 different kind of Kool-Aid pickles and had them out there, had them on the stick like they do at Chick-fil-A in the mall? Hey, as a sample.
Nope.
They would?
Nope.
Why not?
Because it's cutting into my profit.
But once again, you just gave me an opportunity to validate the statement you just said. You said these are the best pickles in the world. If they the best pickles in the world, if I had a slice and it hits my taste bud, what you think I'm gonna do? I'm gonna buy one.
I might cut one flavor.
Come on now, dog.
2 at the most.
2. How many
2.
you got? How many flavors you got?
I got 13.
Huh?
I got 13 flavors.
See, she just said she want to try one now. You could have sold this pickle that you got to take back home. You got to take this one back home.
Nah, I'm about to let y'all try that.
But why we can't try all the other ones? Which one is this?
That's the pineapple mango.
That's Pango.
Pango.
Now what other flavor you got?
I have cherry watermelon. I have tropical punch strawberry. I have grape lemonade. I wasn't gonna bring all the flavors.
What's the best flavor?
But see, we don't even know the best flavor. Cause
That's the best flavor. I mean, that's the number one. Either that one or the habanero mango. It's either that one, habanero mango, or spicy chicken. Those are the 3 top flavors right now.
those are those, but you don't have those with you, do you?
No, habanero mangoes at the house. I'm selling a lot of those. I wasn't gonna bring that.
All we trying to do, if you're at a football game, I mean, if you just had your top 5 out there, you give them one of these pickles and they got the option to taste 2 other, the pickle gonna sell itself. You ain't gotta just come up with your slogan, these are the world best pickles and all that other stuff, because people, once again, Your offering, your proposal, your quote is gonna give them the option to make their own decision. But if you say, hey, the Tabernacle, what is it?
Habanero mango.
Tabernacle mango, that's at the crib, but it's my number one seller. It ain't doing you no good at the house, right?
Right.
But if you can lay that out in a football game and you give people an option, I guarantee you, you'd be selling more bags of pickles than, hey, what's your slogan again?
Try mine, not change your mind.
I can't try it. It's zipped. But if you had it on the platter, I'm gonna walk away. I'm gonna be like, man, that sounds good, but I don't trust you. But throw one out there on a toothpick, and then let me try another one.
But the key is when you see other people eating, and talking about it, then you want to come back.
But I ain't tried though. You gotta convince me. I'm from the show me state. Show me, baby.
I can
See?
I can do it.
All I'm saying is,
Let's try
with
it.
all of our products, we need to be able to have an offering or a proposal where the customer can make a decision. Because now with the internet, we have so many educated consumers that they don't care about no slogan. You can tell me it's the world-based Kool-Aid pickle, but if I can't take it, if I can't return it, I don't want it, because I'm taking a chance. If you really thought this was the best pickle in the world, you should take a chance, because you know it's gonna sell itself. So once again, we talk about our offer. What we were doing just a minute ago, we were negotiating. Because if you had 3 different pickles and then boom, he roll up with a pickle. All right. Why your pickle better than his? But he giving pickles away as samples. I ain't gonna trust yours, but he gave me one that I can sample, and I just made a decision. And then we're gonna talk about win, deferral, and loss. So how many times you go to the mall and somebody try to sell you on a timeshare? And you almost there, and then they say, what you think your wife gonna say? She ain't here. That's what we call a deferral, because now we gotta get both of y'all to make a decision.
Mm.
I just had a win, but you can't make it by yourself, so this is deferral. So now I'm gonna have to try to sell again what I've already sold to you. I'd rather you tell me you're not interested than you gotta push the opportunity because they're not the decision maker. They don't have a need for your product. The timing's not right. I'm thinking about getting an alarm system, but I'm gonna get it next summer. Okay, now you gotta keep up with that a whole year to call a reminder. Because they just deferred a sales opportunity that you did a presentation on. And we're gonna dig into most of these. All of the stuff that I'm showing you on these slides, we can have a workshop on each one of these slides to dig in deeper to really build a sales plan around your business. And that's what you all should be thinking about. If you leave out of here tonight, and if you wake up January 2nd, because I'm gonna let y'all turn it up on New Year's Eve. If you wake up January 2nd and you don't know what your quota is for your company, you just missed a whole year of not having specific sales goals. You should wake up January 2nd, already know what your number is, what you're running out, how much money I gotta go drive in January. When's my seasonal time? You don't even need to buy pickles in December, January, February, and March, because your busiest time is during the summer. What you need to be doing is, what can I sell during the winter that people like?
Exactly.
So I got all these pickles, what can I do? All right,
But I had a different plan though.
what's your plan?
If you buy a certain amount, you get this many free. If you buy 6, you get 2, you get 8 free, you get 2
But
free. So
but
you're getting 8 packs of pickles
so in December,
for the price of 6.
but in December, what you gonna do? When
That,
ain't nobody buying pickles,
that's what I'm gonna do because I know the sales gonna slow down
okay?
because of the holidays and stuff like that. People buying Christmas gifts for their families and their kids. So I'm just trying to push out sales by giving them something away.
All right.
Because people love free stuff.
So let me ask you this. do you have a Christmas offering for your pickles?
That's it.
That's
You
it.
buy six, you get
Buy
two,
six, you get-
two packs free.
Are you gonna put them in a box? You gonna wrap them for them?
Yes. I ship
No,
them.
what'd you say? Yeah.
I
See?
ship them all over. I ship them all over the United States.
She just gave you another idea. These need to be stocking stuffers.
That's a good idea.
See there? Somebody charge this man for all these ideas.
What about the beer for the man, the soul chick and the,
I'm coming. But does this make sense? Absolutely. Everything that we do, we need to think about selling. So now we're gonna talk about the 4 different types of selling. You got transactional sales, you have relationship sales, you have solution sales, and you have partnership sales. And all of these are different.
before we go into that, we do have one person on the phone. Can we check in and see how she's
Oh,
doing?
yeah, go ahead.
Kim, you still here?
I'm still here taking notes. It's all good. Thank you for
All right,
all.
Kim, what kind of business do you have? Tell us, we didn't get a chance to meet you, so tell us what we do so we can include you in the example.
And find something in your house that you want to sell in 30 seconds.
I love that.
You missed the icebreaker. Go ahead, tell us what you sell, Kim.
I am the founder of Holy Roly Pastry Shop, and we do gourmet cinnamon rolls in a variety of flavors, as well as cake rolls. I'm actually at the kitchen now, which is why I couldn't be present there. And I wanted to really understand the difference between sell, and sold. So check mark on that. And it's been so helpful confirming that we do samples and that we have at least 10 flavors. We have traditional, which is our top flavor, followed by a honey glazed one. We have then Oreo, maple bacon, cream and cookies, red velvet, pumpkin spice, et cetera, et cetera. And it really hit home when you said, just bring your 5 top flavors. Don't try and give them analysis paralysis by giving them 12 options at once. So I'm learning and taking notes.
Good.
Feel free to say something if you need us, okay?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So I have a question for you. So have you ever heard of the term sweet and sour?
Yes.
Good. Because we're gonna talk about partnership and I'm gonna come back to that. Because see, you got a partner already in the room. You just don't know it. You just don't. You talking about pickles, and then what did you say you had?
Cinnamon rolls.
Cinnamon rolls. Sometimes you got people that want something sweet in the morning, they want something sour, boom. That's a combination. That's called partnership selling. I'm gonna
Gotcha.
pour your pickles and sales during the winter months. You're gonna pull my cinnamon rolls at the football game during the summer month. Don't that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
We're not competing with each other.
The cinnamon rolls sell good in the winter too. They'll
See?
sell real good in the winter.
That's why you're gonna sell dope pickles during the winter.
We got to advertise them on the LED billboard.
But yep, we got to put them on the LED billboard.
Who got
All of
everything?
us can really form a partnership. Boom, gift box. I just installed your alarm system. People like to feel like a thank you, right? You send them some soap. We all have a partnership. And once again, it ain't a lot of pressure just on me to sell something, because now we're coming with an offering that's gonna pull along another offering. So once again, that's why I said, we're all born to sell, we just have to be creative. All right, so let's keep going.
I was gonna say, on that partnership tip, I honestly, you gotta think out of the box.
Yeah.
Women are your number one consumer. I don't care what it is. Okay, why? Because they buy for themselves, they also buy for men. So if you think about this, literally think about a pregnant woman. A pregnant woman craves pickles. She wants sweets. She would eat up cinnamon rolls. She wants to relax. She needs soaps and things that she can chill in, whatever. But she got a new baby. Can you install an alarm system with cameras so I can watch my baby while I'm downstairs? The new mother page. All of that can be in a partnership. So don't just look at somebody and go, our businesses don't fit. Figure out how you can make them fit.
Absolutely. Put it on the LCD board and run it past pediatrician's office, run it past the gynecologist's office. Boom. Captive mark. But once again, we think that when we hear the term sell, we gotta do it all by ourselves. We gotta convince people to buy pickles. You're gonna have to try to convince me to buy a pickle in the wintertime, especially since you didn't let me sample it. Why am I gonna go on Amazon and see a pickle? And then I'm like, man, I wonder how that tastes. And then I hit the button, then it's gonna give me that spell, you the world greatest Kool-Aid pickle man. And I'm be like, oh, okay. But if you put it in a sweet and sour packet, I like something sweet, she likes something sour. All right, babe, let's try this, right? Now we're not competing with one another.
Okay.
So one of the things I want to say on this slide, if you want your business to prosper, you got to determine your most comfortable approach to selling. Because we don't all like to sell that way. Some of y'all, when we start working together and we get that pot of money, we fall out. The partnership over with. Right?
Most people.
Most people. Now, I just sold 10 bags of pickles for you during Christmas. The profits come in. Oh, I should get half of that. Why? You normally only sell 10% of your pickles during December, but I sell 90% of my cinnamon rolls during December. Why should we have a 50-50 split? Why can't it be equitable? Right? Because in the summertime, the number's gonna change. So when you get into a partnership, you need to make sure it's somebody you can do business with and you don't get, all tight-lipped when it's time to look at the profit or the expense or the loss and say, I'm getting rid of this. That's why you have to look at people that you can do business with. One of the things I've always heard and I've learned is that people do business with people they like, right? We need to be able to like and tolerate each other because we're gonna have some differences, but we need to see the bigger picture of how this thing works for both of us, all right? But you gotta figure out your style. So we're gonna go into that. So in transactional sale, once again, you see a lot of retailers do this because it's a transaction. You go to the store, you buy your favorite product, you go home. Right? But they spend a lot of money with marketing company selling for them, right? Every time you look at a commercial, they trying to sell you something. Whether it's to run to the fast food restaurant, whether it's to buy, CarMax, whatever, they're selling. They're using marketing to sell. So when you come in and ask for it, it's a transaction. I don't need a salesperson to sell that, right? How many times you go to the grocery store? You don't need nobody to sell you anything in the grocery store. Nothing, because they've already done it. So you start to look at, is my business transactional? Once again, I'm not picking on you, bro. I'm just using an example.
Mm.
When you give samples away, that's selling for you. You ain't got to say nothing about your slogan. All you need to do is make sure you either got, what's that, the little thing you tap your credit card on? Square?
Oh, yeah.
You just need to have Square, some cash, and keep it moving. And just make sure you don't have the number one seller at the house, all right? I'm just saying, all right. Depend on good marketing and promotion. That's all companies do. That's why this man's gonna be rich. Because it's all about marketing. It's transactional, right? And the thing about transactional sales is that once you bought it, you don't need it till you run out. That's why they call stuff consumables. Because they want it to run out. Don't you think they know if I put 3.5 ounces of toothpaste in here, you're gonna be back in 30 days? I could really sell you 6 ounces, but then my sales are gonna go up like this. I want my sales to go up like this because now I want you to keep coming back, right? So you need to figure out, how do I keep them coming back? How many pickles or slices of pickles do you put in there?
Average is about between 13 and 15 slices.
So have you ever thought about doing like a variety pack and then just have 3 packages of these with 5 pickles in?
I haven't thought about that.
Because what's gonna happen when I want the 6 pickle? I like this one, but I don't like this one. I'm gonna come buy a
But
bigger
it's-
pack, right?
The variety pack is a mixture of flavors, so that'll be like, what you call, like, you know how you go to the soda pop machine?
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
make one of those, whatever you call it. But it'll be like that though, because I have sold it like that before because customers have requested like that. But I haven't thought about putting it inside of a package like that.
Just put it in a pack. Once again, just thinking outside the box. You know, alarm systems. You know, at the end of the day, if I'm gonna put in a new alarm system, you're gonna give me an inside camera if I buy a camera for my exterior door in the front and the back. Once again, that's an offering. I'm only giving you one, but then you still have other access points that you can sell, right? It's coming up with, if this is transactional, how do I get them to come back? Otherwise, it's one and done until they need another one of your products.
Hold on, before I know you want to go. So, and you'll see me interject every now and then. I'm a small business consultant, so I want to make some of these make sense to you. When he just got through talking about this flavor pack, I guarantee you what he's probably doing is saying, hey, you can pick 3 flavors, and then we're gonna sell them to you in this multi-pack. Problem is, they're gonna pick 3 they already want. If he's already got them prepackaged, what he does is, he takes one that he feels is new, he takes one that's poorly selling, and he takes a flavorful pack that somebody really, really likes. He puts those in a package. Why would you want to take that approach versus your top 3 sellers? Why would you do that? Well, it's the only 3 you're gonna sell. You see what I'm saying? So you're trying to get them to try something new. If nothing else, even if they don't like that 3rd flavor you put in there, you still sold it. They're gonna come back and buy that exclusive one. But there's a lot of times you'll buy something and you're like, I didn't even want that. But you still bought it because it was in the package. Does that make sense? You bought it to get what you wanted. You still got paid off that 3rd pickle flavor, didn't you?
Yeah.
So when you selling soap mail, you know what I'm saying? Put that little thing, put lavender in there. We don't even know what that smell like, okay? But the point is, put it in there. Put in some hibiscus, some eucalyptus, something that make, okay? Because throw in something to let people experience something they wouldn't have, so that way, because otherwise, like you said, it's one and done. If you just give them what they're looking for, as soon as they're finished, they're leaving you, okay? So just food for thought. Think about, like he said with your cameras, how you can apply that. Now, I gotta come up with some LED examples, but I'm gonna work on that for you, okay, sir? Keep on.
All right. So you guys heard me say, people do business with people they like. This is another approach to selling. It's called relationship selling. You know, somehow, some way, you're establishing a relationship with someone that's ongoing, right? That's idea for your business. That's idea for your business. That's idea for your business. Because in your industry, who do you think uses relationship sales the most?
My customers are majority women,
Okay.
but there are also women who buy stuff for men. We do get men, but it's majority women.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you 2 companies that do what you do, but they do relationship sales. And they have been around for years and they ain't going nowhere because they do relationship sales. Avon and Mary Kay. All about relationships. You know that you already know the Avon and Mary Kay lady at your job, right? What's she gonna do? She gonna leave that little book on your desk
Yeah.
with her stamp on the back and keep coming by the check. She building a relationship until you find something in that little book that you like. Now all of a sudden you looking for her when you about to run out. Girl, you got some more of that? Nope. That's on back order, but I got this. Okay, I'll try. But you know what she's done? She's built trust that she can make a recommendation based on something being on back order. And you're gonna buy it, you're gonna try it. Cause she's gonna say, if you don't like it, you can bring it back. I'll give you something else. Once again, she done built up some loyalty and she's made a meaningful connection with you. And that's what you're looking for when you have a relationship. Because now all of a sudden, you don't look at me as a salesperson, you look at me as an extension of your team. I'm a valuable resource because I'm bringing you knowledge, I'm bringing you something that you can bet your job on. When I used to work at IBM in the 80s, we used to always tell the IT director, You can bet your job on our stuff. And that's what they did. Go ahead, question.
I have a question. So, in one lane of my career, I built up a very high level of continued customer, you know. I don't call them customer no more, because I've been knowing them over 20 years.
That's a relationship. You don't even call them customers, because they're not customers.
So my question though is, when now that they're used to this lane, you know, they don't even question whatever it is with that food job. But now that I've moved to another lane, how do I get them to see the value of here, you know? That's been some.
So let me ask you this. Did your product or service change from the customers that you had built up that relationship with?
To some degree.
Okay, what were you selling to them then?
Kitchen, bathroom.
So you were doing construction. Okay, so once again, the thing that you have to do is you have to show that owning an alarm system is also an extension of securing their household. You were selling them the value of renovation, of, the decor. But now you want to start taking those same people and selling them on the safety of protecting their castle. And so you have to come back, and now you have to, you're gonna get an opportunity to tell your story because you already have a relationship with them. But now you have to tell your story from a different perspective. You're not coming in and selling the decor, now you're selling the security in their household. And now it's more of a personal thing where at night when I go to sleep, if I can put this alarm system on, or I can go to work, or my little kid can come home and they're latchkey, and I can see them walk up, the front door, and you got the little number, you got to start selling a totally different strategy. Now you personalize it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I got two examples. Sorry, I'm touchy. One area that I think about when we talk about like expanding your business is that recently I just had somebody do my lawn, right? And so every time they give me a card, I've noticed that what more and more people are doing, they're advertising this second business on the back. Not only do they do lawn care,
Yeah.
they do fencing, and then there's roofing.
Yeah.
So one thing with security system, seeing all that's going on is that you potentially could offer services for cyber. People get hacked all the time. Just because you get them installed one time doesn't mean that it's secure. So, maybe you can do like follow-up visits. I know people are hacking to the Wi-Fi. Let me come over every 6 months and I just make sure that everything is on track where it's supposed to be. The apps are working, the cameras are working, bigger stuff. Selling a service, and then you start to implement other things.
Absolutely.
You had two things that were both.
Okay.
There's something else I think you mentioned earlier, you used to do IT. And so with the Reba, if you used to do IT, to me, that goes, people who get IT or have their TVs installed or alarm systems or smart homes, to me, that goes right into an alarm system.
Yeah.
Because I know for the longest, I had an alarm, I had to push the button. It was so many times I left home, I was like, did I put the alarm on? You know what I'm saying? Or I would call somebody, be like, can you go by the house and get this? They'd be like, what's your alarm code? Oh, never mind, I'm gonna go get it. You know what I'm saying? So if there was a way to be able to turn it off and on, I would like that. But most of us probably buy a house, get an alarm system, and we don't think anything else about it. So you may have a tie-in right there just to go back to all the people that you worked on before. Say, hey, remember I did them TVs for you? Bring up their relationship. Just wanted to let you know I can come and check out your alarm, see and follow the stuff you said.
And you can even offer a free assessment. Once again, if you have the relationship, January just said, hey, let me stop by and do a free assessment of what your current alarm system is. Or if you don't have one, let me show you your points of vulnerability. All right. Once again, all this stuff we already know. Most companies, larger companies, use the fourth quarter for one of two things. Either to close the sales gap before they finish the year. Retailers used to call from October to the end of December. They call that their golden quarter because that's when they make their money. They don't want to touch no system. They don't want to hear nothing. Boom, we sell it. And if they're not selling, the people over in the finance team, they're setting goals for next year. So they're doing what they call fall planning. They're looking at, okay, this is how much we need to sell. This is how many people we can afford to hire. This is, what we can do in research and development. They're already sitting there trying to figure out those numbers so that when the Christmas season you know, it's all over with, they already come in day one. Who used to hate going to work in January and they're like, oh, it's time for an employee evaluation? Yeah, why we gotta do that in January? Because they already know, especially if you're on a profit sharing model, they already know how much money they want to get. Now we just gotta figure out how much we get you versus me, right? So relationships, don't take advantage of them, but don't lose them. This is probably the hardest part because in order to have a relationship, you gotta stay connected to them, right? You gotta call them every now and then. You can't call them every time you wanna sell something. Oh man, I just had a good idea. Let me call you. Man, I ain't heard from you in months. Relationships, you gotta have a touch point.
You know what I do?
What's that?
So I say the birthday or like an anniversary or something in my phone.
Absolutely.
It notifies me like either a day before or sometime that same day.
Absolutely.
And I don't even want nothing. I just, hey, how the anniversary, there's a few times I kind of messed up because I call, hey, happy anniversary. They weren't together, so
Relationship, I would even take it one step further.
I'll take care of
If you have employees, you need to be doing the same thing because it's a relationship. When they have a kid, when they have a birthday, I'm not gonna remember their wedding anniversary because I'm trying to remember mine. But you need to have a relationship with them so they see you outside of work. We send birthday cards to our employees all the time with like a $25 Target card. You know how much mileage we get? When they get home and they see a birthday card, they're like, Dad, thanks for the birthday card. Sometimes they late, but they know me. I'm like, hey, I know your birthday was in February. I just got around to it, but happy birthday, you know? But somehow, some way, it's a relationship you have with your employees, the same kind of relationship you want to have with your customers. And after a while, they're not customers, right? All right. Solution selling. This is what I was actually trying to get to in the 30 seconds that I had. But solution selling is all about being a subject matter expert. That's it. You're a subject matter expert when it comes to alarm system. When you come to my house, you selling me on the feature functions and benefits of the alarm system because I don't know it. That's why I'm doing business with you. That's why I'm coming to talk to you because this is more consultative. I'm coming in as a subject matter expert. I know about alarm. You're gonna be sitting there and I was like, well, what's the difference between your system and Ring? What you gonna say?
Well, there's a few different.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm a subject matter expert. Now, all of a sudden, the dude that's been on the internet, he's looking at Ring, and then you come around, it's like, what's the difference? Now you can help me understand the difference, and you're adding value. And now all of a sudden, you tie your customer service, that's adding even more value because now I gotta go figure out how to put this Ring system up myself. But you telling me how you gonna do it. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna check on you in 2 days to make sure everything is going well. This is where we come into solution selling. You're trying to identify the needs or the pains that your customers are experiencing. That's why I was asking John, I said, tell me about the pickle process. You standing up all day, right? When you sit down in a chair, you want to sit down in the most comfortable chair you can. You don't care if it came from Paris, France, because it looks good. You don't care if it's this, that, or the other. You want the most comfortable chair because you're probably experiencing some pain in your back or in your feet. Mm-hmm. That's what you want to start selling them to. You're getting them to identify what their challenges are. That's why we're diagnosing the needs of the customer. Once again, if you were gonna think of a new flavor for your pickles, how do you do that today?
How do I think of a new flavor?
Yeah.
You really want to know?
Yeah.
I make some Kool-Aid and I think of a pickle, how a pickle tastes. And I drink the Kool-Aid and I like, would this taste good on the pickle? Because our Kool-Aid don't taste good on the pickle. You know what I'm saying? Like, would you buy an orange pickle Orange Kool-Aid pickle?
Mm,
I would.
maybe if you let me
And
taste
be on the
one,
chain, like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I would.
if you let me taste one, but that's, okay, go ahead.
I wouldn't buy an orange Kool-Aid pickle.
Right.
I'd rather buy a blackberry than an orange, or a cherry than an orange.
Orange Dreamsicle. I would buy that.
But they don't have Dreamsicle Kool-Aid. They have Dreamsicle.
Anyway,
They have
don't have spicy
Dreamsicle
chicken Kool-Aid.
snow cone juice.
But let me tell you this, 'cause I
Go
think you
ahead,
going to
go
a good
ahead.
spot. Something he's saying is really important, y'all. He said that sometimes you gotta diagnose the needs of the customers. I guarantee you, the majority of people who come to you, they come to you with what they think they need, that's what they want. That's not what they need. There's a reason why most things require a consultation or an assessment, because you may want X, Y, and Z, but that's not what you need. So one of the biggest things is to go in and limit yourself as a salesperson by only giving a person what they ask for. Now, no, I know you feel, I don't really want to oversell them, but what happens is you do exactly what they want. You do it better than anybody else has ever done it. And it don't work. And who do they blame?
Blame
You. So you lost the business when it was really their fault. So this solution selling is a big one.
Yeah.
You gotta be open-minded. Is the key.
Yeah.
You can't just go off of what you think.
Yep,
You
that's
gotta
where I
look
was
at the
gonna
whole
go.
situation. That's why
You can't just go off of what you think. You gotta go off of the consumer and what they think.
Mhm.
That's why you coming in as a subject matter expert. Because I know what you should be doing versus what you want. In sales, we call people that go in and the customer say, hey, I want ABC, and you sell them ABC, we call you order takers. That's all you're doing, you take an order.
Okay.
You might as well be over the internet. They can point, click, and boom. But see, when you come in and you have some expertise, just like you were telling January just a second ago, she was like, I want the Dreamsicle. You're like, ain't no Dreamsicle Kool-Aid. You're a subject matter expert because you know what Kool-Aid flavors are out there.
Right.
Now, if you really wanted to be advantageous, you can go and look at the ingredients of a Dreamsicle and see if you can mix a couple of different Kool-Aid brands and come up with what she's thinking about. Now you're a subject matter expert. I just created something. So do you think the dude over here that just said, hey, they don't sell Dreamsicle, and you selling Dreamsicle, when she come by, where do you think she's gonna stop at?
She want that Dreamsicle.
She want that, and she'll even want it more if you let her sample it.
This Dreamsicle girl.
But before we go to the fourth one, do y'all see the difference between the sales style?
Yeah.
So now you got to figure out, what am I comfortable doing? How do I feel comfortable approaching my customer? So now all of a sudden, I don't have to persuade you because I'm informing you. You making the decision. I always used to tell my customers all the time, I said, it's up to me to ask for the sale. It's up to you to decide whether you're gonna buy. I'm gonna ask, I'm a salesperson. That's what I'm supposed to do. After I get finished with my presentation, I'm supposed to ask you, are you ready to take delivery today? And then it's up to them to say, based on what I heard, yes or no. But then if we go back to the example with the car dealership, you just took me up from 239 to 580. I feel like I've been sold. But if you've helped educate me along the way, if you say, well, hey, the car for 230, you know what? Cloth seats, we live in Texas, 100-degree day, leather's hot. Whew. But what if you had vented leather seats and you cut your air conditioner on, it's blowing on your back? Isn't that worth $100 more for you? To not get out of the car and all this in the back of your shirt, all wet,
Yeah.
and you want to come sell me pickles? Boom, you like, it's once again, stepping people up. You talked about power sunroof, what about in the evening, in the fall? You want to open up the window. Once again, you making the decision to step up one more. And that's what we need to do with our customers. There are probably different cameras that you can go buy and offer to your customer. But wouldn't you like to have a panoramic view of your alley versus just this single view or a silo view? I'm stepping you up. That's $200, but this is $350. But you get a 360-degree view. So somebody can't just slide up to your house like this and still get in, right?
24 color.
And what, 24 codes?
Doesn't matter, it's not a day.
See? Once again, we're still coming around with solution selling. Now, if the customer called you, say, hey, all I want is the camera that you have on sale, then once again, that's a transaction. You're gonna sell it to them because we all need the sales revenue. I always tell people, this is how you know sales is important. How many of you guys look at your P&L, on a monthly or annual basis?
How many of y'all have a P&L?
Or what?
P&L, profit and loss statement.
I already know.
So you need, once again, that's a task for you. If you start January 2nd, 2023, and you don't have your accounting in place, you don't know what your sales target is, you don't have a P&L that you can look at for profitability at the end of the year, you're cheating yourself. Because you're working too hard not to know whether or not you're making money or losing money.
So I need a profit and loss statement.
Profit and loss statement. And you can find an accountant that can help you with that.
But my QuickBooks does that.
QuickBooks does it. QuickBooks spit out profit and loss statement.
Got them out of read, but you can come back on Thursday and she'll be talking about profit and loss on the basic account.
I'm coming.
It spit it out, boom, profit and loss statement. If anybody look at their profit and loss statement, what's the first line at the top of your profit and loss statement? Income. And income is generally equated to what we call sales in a business. That's how important sales is. So if you don't have a target, if you don't know what your selling style is, we just out here just doing activities, right? Because when you're running a business, you want to know whether or not it's profitable at the end of the day. And once again, how can I come up with different offerings if I don't know what my low performance item is? I can say, Dad, I got a whole case of these still left. That's visible. You can say that's the lowest one, but it may not necessarily be the lowest product. You just may be selling it to the wrong target market, right? That's what you need to be looking at your business and understanding your sales activities around. All right. Now I'm gonna come back to the last one that we were talking about. Partnership.
That's the one.
Once again, you need to sit down and think about who your target market is and what are the decisions they make. So like in my industry, I have a commercial janitorial company. So most of the time when we go into a building, we're talking to the facility manager. If you go into a commercial building, you're talking to a facility manager. If the plumbing break, the plumber talking to the facility manager, the landscape guy is talking to the facility manager, the insurance, not insurance, but the electrician. We all are talking to the same person. We need to figure out how we come up with a solution where you can drag me into a conversation with that same person, right? We soft selling now. Hey, I was in the area and a good friend of mine, he does alarm systems. I just invited him to the meeting. Now you just got an introduction. And so you can say, well, hey, I know you guys are talking about janitorial today, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna leave some brochures and then I'm gonna set up another meeting just to come back and talk about your current alarm system. Once again, contractors, you need to be doing that. At the end of the renovation, you need to know some contractors to say, hey, dude, did they have an alarm system? I didn't see one. I ain't hear no chime when I walked through the door.
Oh,
Hey.
y'all casing you, Jordan. Go ahead. Be careful, that's that one.
You think you can refer me? Once again, these are all things that we need to be doing. You need to be sitting around talking to, people that do bridal showers, right? Because when they have a bridal shower, they looking for games and activities. They looking for gifts. And now all of a sudden you come in and you got, what's the new thing now? The shower balls or bombs? Yeah, boom, now you have all this. You got it in a little package. And you can go talk to these wedding coordinators or bridal shower coordinators or girlfriends or the Mary Kay girl and say, hey, boom, can you add this? Or can you give me an introduction to the people that you have scheduled for bridal showers this month? But that's what partnership selling is all about. Figuring out what other businesses that are not my competition, but we call on the same people and we can sell jointly. But if you're gonna sell jointly, you also need to be a subject matter expert in your area. Don't come in talking about his alarm system when you sell a market. Because now you're taking his thunder away. And you're talking about something you don't know about. And you should be talking about marketing. Like I said, I'm sales. I ain't talking about marketing. Salespeople always feel most marketing people can't sell anyway. That's why we got them. I'm just messing with you. We used to get out there and it was like, where'd you read that? Oh, I got this brochure from your marketing team. We don't do that. But you gotta have fun with it. But it's only gonna map your style. Do you see what I'm saying? You can transition from all of them. But you have one primary style that you feel very comfortable doing. And then you have a secondary. I like solution selling because now all of a sudden, I'm the subject matter expert. I'm selling you the value of my product. And I'm educating you. So I don't have to feel like I'm twisting your arm at the end of the day to ask for the deal. Because I just educated you. I just showed you the difference of what I can offer versus my competitor. But then my secondary is relationship. I still have my very first customer after 10 years. We still clean their facility because we have a relationship. And that's one of those things, just touching bases, popping in. I don't even clean their building no more. I pop in and I know. I've seen women that have started there and 10 years later, they got babies, their kids in college, only because it's a relationship. And that's what you have to look at when you decide what's my dominant selling style versus my secondary. And it could be transactional. Boom, all I want to do is just put this up on the internet. So you could be transactional and then you could be relationship. They buy the first product from you. Now all of a sudden, you start trying to build a relationship by sending them, suggestions on a monthly basis. Right? That could be a secondary. Yes, sir.
So if someone is wholesaling my pickles, like if I'm selling someone wholesale pickles to sell inside of their establishment, that's still considered partnership?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It can be transactional too.
I never seen a pickle in a vending machine. You might be able to market that. 'Cause
See?
Hey, that's
Like full color.
that was one of my ideas because one of my homeboys got some vending machines. And I was telling him, man, you need to let me put my pickles inside the vending machine.
Now, the only thing you gotta figure out is make sure the pickle don't get jammed up in there.
Right.
So start rolling, it gets
Right.
stuck right here. You're gonna have some bad people, right?
Right.
And maybe that means
Smaller packages.
use smaller packages. Once again, it goes back to the 5, right? All right. I got 5 more minutes before I get booted off. All right, has this been helpful?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
All right, has it been boring?
No.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm gonna speed through these remaining ones. So this is what I was talking about. We all born to sell. It's just a matter of finding our sales style, right? So all of that goes back to your aspirations. What makes you feel comfortable when you approach someone, right? The one thing I would always say, don't oversell your product. Sometimes you gotta know when to shut up and ask for the order, right? After you done told them everything about your product, you need to start asking them some questions. What do you think you wanna do? You think you wanna, move forward with this alarm system? Do you think you wanna sample, this particular fragrance? You think you're ready to start marketing in the DFW area? After you've educated them, you gotta know when to shut up. That's the only thing about aspiration when you're selling, because you enjoy it and you don't feel like you're selling, you feel like you're consulting, you feel like you're advisor, but then don't sell yourself out of a sale.
Mhm.
You gotta know when to stop. Then you need to look at new initiatives. So what I said about new initiatives, figure out, all right, I'm gonna see which style I like the best. Try to sell a product based on your dominant selling style and then your secondary. Right, and what I mean by that is if your dominant is solution selling, now let me figure out if it was transaction. And that's why I came up with that example. Okay, I can do the panoramic and I can talk about the value and the 24 colors, whether it's day or night. Now I'm just gonna do a transaction. This camera right here, 249. And see what happens. See, you know, of course, the sales cycle is gonna be different because transactional, you've done some marketing to get them excited versus now I gotta spend some time selling and educating you. And on a transaction, I can put it on the internet, but on a solution selling, you gotta buy it through me because it's a custom order, right? So figure out which one works best for you, but measure it so that at the end of the day, you're not going off your gut feel. All right. Customer service, I'm gonna hit this pretty quick. I talked about this. In sales, we call that, when you don't have this good customer service, your customer's walking out the back door. Your competition talking to your customers at the back door. Yeah, just like I said, ring. Oh man, I wouldn't buy a ring. Man, I just bought this ring. I can never get it set up. Dude told me, you know, it was gonna be able to show at night, everything ain't great. I try to call them, I can't get it online, you know, I call them, I get a voicemail, you know, or nobody ever calls me back, or I get some kind of techie person that's talking about, you know, what's your, you know, security code, and I don't know that, you know what I mean? Once again, you gotta look at your customer service. So I look at customer service in 3 different aspects. Transitional services. What I mean by that is, after you got the customer to say yes, how do you transition them into a long-term customer? I'll tell you how car dealerships do it. While you're in the finance guy, somebody out in the bay washing your car. They washing it up, boy. That baby look good. Armor all on the tires, you know, rims looking good, you know, they making it look good. Now they got to the point where they put the bow on the car and take your picture. Because they know social media, they know you're gonna do it. Let us do it for you. Now you just had a good experience. Even though they just sold you from $289 to $580, now it's sitting out in the bay, and you like this. With a red bow. What you think you're gonna do with that picture when they send it to you?
Put it on the ground.
Let's go straight to the ground. Look at me. You don't even say, look at me. You like, look at God. That's transitional. So now I just moved you from making a purchase to now I'm gonna manage the customer service. I'm gonna manage the expectation. I just had a smooth transition. Because what happens when we don't have a smooth transition when we buy something? We're upset. You get home, Walmart used to be notorious for this. You get home, something didn't work, you take it back to Walmart, you be like, where your receipt? Be like, I ain't got it. I threw that away. Well, I can give you a store credit. I don't want a store credit. I just gave you $50 in cash. Give it back. No. But now what do Walmart do? They're like, okay, if you ain't got a receipt within 30 days, if I can hit that scanner and it pop up as something on, I'm gonna give it to you. All right, but they had to change their policy because it wasn't a good feeling. Quality assurance. January talked about this earlier. She used to be a manager over the pharmacy for Walgreens. You can go into any major retailer that has more than 10 locations. They all look the same. Service all the same. Return policy all the same. Because they created something called quality assurance so that you have the same experience at the same time at different stores.
Hmm.
Except for those stores that don't follow the rule. Quality assurance. I should be able to pick up, and this is why companies have lot numbers on them. I should be able to pick up some pickles you made yesterday and some pickles you made today. And they should taste the same. I shouldn't be like, dang, this one don't taste like the Pango, right?
Mm.
They shouldn't, because you have quality assurance. So like in my business, we do inspections. So I'm gonna come in, and I'm gonna look at the cleaner, and I'm gonna make sure that they're doing the same thing that I asked them to do. So that if they don't show up for work and I have somebody else go do it, they are on the same checklist. The quality should be the same. The customer shouldn't even know that I was out. Because once again, we got quality assurance, right? You got a question?
No, right.
Okay, and then support services, like I said, you need to be accessible. If you're gonna sell something, you need to be accessible. People should be like, Dad, I called you, I wanted to return this. It's harder to return it than when I bought it. Prime example, Amazon. Amazon, now you can go to Kohl's and drop off your stuff
Get $5.
and get $5. Now, isn't that a better experience? How many of y'all remember when you used to order something online and you were praying until it got there that it was the right size? Oh, I sure hope they extra large is the extra large I would get in the store. Because if it didn't, then now it's like, I gotta go to the UPS store. I gotta pay for it myself. And so you just end up keeping it. Oh, this is Christmas gift. But your customer support should be the same. So with all that said, we're gonna wrap up. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Can you scan back to the partnership setting? So I
Oh,
can
yeah.
take those notes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And these are available online. You also, I'm gonna talk to that.
Okay, she's gonna talk to you about that. So you good. All right, any other questions? So the thing I would just challenge you guys to do is all of our times to soar. If you don't know what your target is for revenue for next year, you need to know that before you go out on New Year's Eve. Because when you wake up January 2nd, you're waking up ready to run. You're waking up ready to sell something. You know what your seasonality is. You know what's profitable, what's not profitable. You know how you're gonna spend your time growing your business in 2023 on January 2nd versus October 20th, right? So we need to start doing all those things. So let me ask you this. What you gonna do when you go home, John?
Tonight,
Yeah, and that's right, okay. So how are you gonna grow your business in 2023? Let me put it that way.
I have to come up with a plan for that.
Okay,
I don't have a plan for it right now.
okay. So what do you think your first step is to create your plan?
My first step is customer service.
Okay,
To take care of the customer. As long as I take care of the customer, the business is gonna take care of itself.
okay. So how do you define taking care of the customer?
I have to be accessible to the customer. I have
Okay.
to be nice to the customers.
Okay,
And that's pretty much it for customer service. Like,
I think all of those are good things to do for your customer. But I'm gonna tell you, go home, figure out how many pickles you want to sell next year. How many pickles do you need to sell to keep the lights on? Right? Because you should know how much profit you're making out of each bag. You should be able to say, man, how much you sell these for? $5. How much you get to keep? You don't have to answer that. And then you need to say, my light bill, $400. How many of these I gotta sell to pay that $400 light bill? Or, I don't know, you have to, you got an electric slicer,
no, I slice my hand by my hand.
See?
with a knife.
all that, you should know. You should know what your cost is and your profitability for each one of these bags. All right, and then, so what are you gonna do when you go for 2023? What goals have you set? What action items?
So I haven't Bachelor's degree and focus on like Christmas.
Okay,
That's the idea of making, what you call, those packs, like, you
Okay.
know, putting in different products. I think, like, her idea was pretty good. A bestseller, you know, it's not really as much, and like the most popular, I think. And
absolutely.
putting something together and selling it as like a gift basket for the holidays.
Absolutely. I was gonna challenge you, but since you're a registered nurse, I'm not gonna challenge you. You're gonna have to give up some sleep. Cause you gotta do both of these. You gotta get ready for Christmas and be selling, but then January 2nd, you still need to know what your target is. So you're gonna have to give up either some sleep or some social time, so you can do both of them at the same time. Because what's gonna happen after you get through Christmas, you're like, oh, I'm tired. I just got through Christmas. And so all your sales gonna be like this. Until you realize, you're like, man, I need to make some money. I'm gonna have to sell some more stuff. You should already have a strategy for Mother's Day, you know, weddings, all that other stuff. You should have a sales strategy around all of it. So what are you gonna do as an action item for 2023?
I don't really know. All I've been focused on, I mean, 104 customers.
See, so, but let me, so I'm gonna challenge you, you feel it, right? You know you're losing money. You think you need 140 customers, but you probably need 150. I'm gonna challenge you to get your P&L set up. You need to have your profit and loss statement, so the numbers don't lie. Your gut can, because that's how you feel. So I'm gonna challenge you to do that. So what are you gonna do, sir?
So for me, everyone has pretty much said, I'm focusing on finishing third quarter on a great note and just getting into fourth quarter and closing out the year on an even better note. With 2023, I want to have a better overall, better sales funnel for my customers. Because, you know, I think you touched on it briefly, you know, number one, your customers not only need to like you, they need to trust you. And, you know, when it comes to like transactional selling, you know, some things are easier to sell. They'll buy her soap before they buy my digital advertising, because again, the price points and things like that. So I have to do a better job at building the relationship and taking them down the sales funnel to make an easier transaction at the end of the day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right,
So-
would you wrap
So
it
one
up?
of the other things I'm gonna challenge you to think about is who can you be selling your offering to for fourth quarter? You need to be talking to her. She already talking about how am I gonna sell all these, you know, products during Christmas. You need to give her some kind of, what do they call it, promotional offer, you know? She may not be able to afford 90 days, but what about the week of Thanksgiving, right before everybody's about to go out shopping? Or the first week in December? I got a promotional offer. I'm shut up.
We have some legal things we have to take care of, the people who pay for this space.
No, we just.
Calm down, calm down. All right, so focus, okay, come on now, focus. Hey, Kim. All right, so some next steps. He talked to you about some things, and realistically, he asked you some questions, and realistically, what you have to do here is you gotta identify what's your sales personality. You know, what do you wanna be? And you won't always have to be the same thing every time. There may be somebody you need to be transactional with. If somebody contacts you and they say, hey, I just need this, it's a husband, I just need this one-time thing, you know what I'm saying, for my mother for her birthday, then that's what you are, okay? Now, I ain't saying you don't want relational selling or relationship selling, but be careful with that woman husband, okay? But to the wife or whomever else, maybe that's your other personality. So identify your first and your secondary selling personality. Then we want you to select an opportunity to act on those personalities. So go back and think about an existing customer that you have. Say, you know what? Who's somebody maybe I need to try solution selling with? Or maybe this is somebody I need to go back and do relationship selling with. But it's whatever your primary and your secondary personalities are and what fits your business. That makes sense? Go through and figure that out. And then I want you to act on that by saying, you know what? This is something that women do a lot. Okay? Think the conversation through. Don't just call them, hey man, how you doing? I'm good. Oh, did you see the game the other day? Yeah, our team lost. Oh, yeah, so what, I don't even watch football, bro, I'm playing, but how your air conditioning doing? That's not gonna work. Think through the conversation, and every time you get to an impasse, don't just say, oh, I wanna buy this, no. Be a difficult customer with yourself,
Absolutely.
okay, because remember, they don't know that when you're doing solution selling, that you're giving a solution, they think they have a need and you're not addressing it. So play, imagine it was a woman, you know what I'm saying, y'all have a difference of opinion. Why? Because then that'll put you through every scenario that you need to prepare for. Then once you've written that out and you found a good pad, you know if they turn left, which way you're going, if they turn right, which way you're going, then act on it. Contact a customer that you can develop a better relationship with, a different relationship, okay? And move it forward. Maybe it's a partnership seller. Maybe you need to approach somebody that before you never even really considered and say, you know what? I think this might be a good opportunity for a partnership. Now, it can't just be anybody, because they'll take your money, okay? But you know what? Let's try to work towards that. But think through it. What are the 4 types? Who can name them all for me?
Solution-based, relationship, transactional.
The one. Oh, okay. You don't work well. I'm just missing. All right, partnership. That's the one we forget. Figure those out. So this is gonna be on there as well. Okay. So now, once you do that, you've already gotten your Q&A. I need to talk to you about a couple of things because he mentioned some stuff, and I was looking at your eyes, and y'all were like, because he kept talking about your sales, your quarter numbers, your this, your that. And I really wanted to ask y'all how many of y'all had those, okay? And I'm gonna tell you why it's important, because we've been doing this series for a while, so I need to tell you why we're doing this. You didn't see a lot of people here, but people signed up, folks just, maybe they found out we was having barbecue and they don't like barbecue, I don't know. But we've gone through and we've been talking about using social media, business tools and resources. Tonight we talked about sales and customer service, but we have 2 of these every month. And these are just introductions to get you started thinking about what you need to do to go to the next level. We actually have different partnerships. I'm gonna talk about those in just a second. But I have to tell you, these are gonna keep going. We've got another one in this same room, in this same building on Thursday. And it's about accounting. It's called Know Your Numbers. And it is accounting 101. You don't know clue about how to get a profit and loss started? You need to be there. Because a lot of y'all are gonna say, oh, my QuickBooks is gonna do that. Oh, I'm gonna hire a bookkeeper. Okay? How you know they know what they're doing? How you know that they're doing a good job if you don't know the basics? Does that make sense? I'm a woman. Not saying women don't know, but every time I have to take my car somewhere, I get a little query when they tell me, oh, you need this, this, and this. You know what I'm saying? So what do? I call somebody who knows to make sure that they're not just telling me anything. And a lot of times they are. Okay? So that being said, I want you guys to come and at least know the basics. That's this Thursday. It's not like it's too late to register. We can get a vegan meal. Other than that, we have a smothered chicken, green beans, and mashed potatoes. Okay, it's 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. Same exact link, and I'm gonna talk to y'all about that in a second. Next month, we've got 2 other ones. How to market online, which I think will play really good with digital marketing. Okay, and then branding is the foundation. I'm listening, Kim, but if you need me, say something. Okay, how to establish your brand, especially if you got a new company. People may only know you, you know what I'm saying, as old boy from the block. Now, how do we turn into a whole different identity? What do? Okay, you the nurse. If I got so many ideas I have to watch because I get paid to do this, so I can't give y'all the free 99 game. But if I was a nurse and I sold soap and bad products, girl, you best know I would tie them 2 together. That's my free game for you for tonight. Come and find that out. Last thing is, and he talked about being okay next year and starting out with a plan. The last 2 things we talking about are money, budget or bust. Now you got all these ideas, how not to go broke. You know what I'm saying? Trying to promote your idea. And then the last one is, you made that money, keep it in your pocket with tax strategies. Okay, these are all free. They all include dinner. They're all going to be 5:30 to 7:30 in this room. All right. But that being said, I need to tell you, this is just the beginning. If you guys, I'm gonna give you 2 different links. Okay, and I need you to kind of pull them up. Normally, I had a little QR code in here. I got this presentation done a little bit late. That's on me. But there is a QR code I normally would let you scan. But can you guys pull out your cell phones? I'm gonna take you to one website and have you to go to the other website. The reason I'm gonna take you to the other website, the big website first, since we just launched this. So in addition to these speaker series, we actually have boot camps that you go to for 5 or 6 weeks straight, that they take every one of these topics and they go over the whole kit and caboodle. We can just only do so much in 2 hours. You get what I'm saying? So this is that introduction. So I want you to type in LINKTR dot LINKTR.EE/, to do this, not the one to go backwards, slash goes like this. DC is in Dallas College, small biz, BIZ, So it's Linktree with a dot between the R and the E / DC Small Biz, BIZ. Brand new, just launched it, hence us reading and making them a PowerPoint. Linktree / DC Small Biz, but it's a dot between the R and the E. I'll come tap it in your phone if you need me to. That's it. All right, we got one person. That's it. All right, this is now all of our offerings. Business counseling, business coaching, mentoring, speakers, boot camps, resources, podcasts, meeting rooms, all of those things are on this one address, Small Biz. DC Small Biz. All right, now on there, you're gonna see something that says speaker series. Please click on that link. That's gonna take you to this series, so that y'all can try to register for Thursday or any of the others. DC Small Biz. So it's small in the middle of the word D and DC and Biz.
Oh.
I know y'all probably thought I meant lowercase, I'm sorry. It's for small businesses. Okay, so that if you go here, there's gonna be, this is where all of our upcoming events are. So the first thing you should see is register for Thursday. Okay, registration closes tomorrow. All right, and then you'll also see the biography of the gentleman who spoke to you. You'll see all of our past recordings, like people who've had these speeches before, so in case you missed one. This is where you can register for all the rest of them for the next year. Okay, for the rest of the year. You don't see them now because I only release them 30 days in advance. So the people won't just go through take all the spots and then not show up. You see what happens, okay? But I need you to do something for me while you're on that page. So if everybody go to the speaker series one, I need you to click on the one that says the survey for tonight. I just need you to fill out the survey and tell us how you feel. Yep.
Where's the survey?
Oh, that's the other one. Oh, I give you the right spot. Post survey, there you go. Under presentations, you'll see post survey, a post series survey.
Is it like 1 through 5?
It ain't that hard. We're going to ask a bunch of questions.
Yeah, I need to put 5s now. There's 7 5.
Oh, yeah, it is. Well, it asks, it's not just about you. And if anybody needs me to pull it up on their phone, I will, but save it once you do. DC Small Biz, and that'll get you to the other one is just speakers, it's Linktree / speaker series. It takes you right to where we're going. Oh, I know this is record. Everybody else got to? Now I'm gonna have you scan my QR code. Anybody not get to the survey?
Hey, January, it's Kim.
Yeah, I'm gonna get it. Oh, you need this. You want? Oh, let's see. Did you get
I
it? Were you able to?
I'm driving. I'm not able to get to it. Will there be
Okay.
a email after?
Yes, there will. You'll get another
Okay,
one that has the link on it as well as soon as I upload the recording. So after I get home, it's gonna be tonight. I'm going to upload the recording and the slides, presentation, and you just gotta be able to go. But that the same email that you use to register for this is the same email they're on right now, Kim.
Gotcha. Thank
All right. Dion, I got your phone. Go to settings. All right, and if you need to hop off, you can. But the same thing you use to register is the same one I'm sending them to now, okay?
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, here we go. You gotta scan that.
January,
Okay, accept. Here I go.
I just got a question.
Yep.
What was it to go or something?
To identify your first and secondary personalities. Write out a plan, like how would you handle that, like identify a customer, write out a plan and then go do it, execute.
So what were you saying earlier about portraying yourself as a difficult customer, like
In other words, like if you say you're gonna try relationship selling, so you're gonna come to me and you're gonna try to get me to buy your pills. How does that work? If you wanna make relationship selling, how would that conversation go? You know I want a dreamsicle, you already told me I can't have it, so what kind of relationship you trying to have? But play it out, you see what I'm saying? Play it out and then come to me when you got your stuff for it. Now I made everybody else to go play it, cause we got to go. All right,
What did y'all think about the pictures?
did everybody get a pill?
Let's find out when I go.
Now, do you have a website?
It'll be, it's coming.
I want you to do a website too.
So do you buy your pickles for cucumbers or you buy the pickles already? Yeah.
That's survey. It's cool. Whenever you ready. I got you. Y'all need to.
Okay.
Homework.
Okay. All right, what do you need me to help you with?
Nothing. You guys are welcome to ask David any questions before he leaves. I want you guys to finish the survey. If you can remember those two websites. The speaker series is the main one to get to us, and the 555. His information is on that link, that speaker series web where you just work. You can get in touch with him that way.
My email address, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I got
And phone number.
And
first, I want to thank all you guys for participating, and I wish all of
That's
you
okay.
the best of luck and success. I ain't even say luck, success. I wish it all of you guys the best success that life has to offer.
Let me try one to see if it makes me itch. I gotta put up on.
Yeah, are you sure you don't need any help?
What you see in here that need to be cleaned up? I
I'm
thought I
just
did a good
trying
job.
to make sure because we out of here. Thank you.
If y'all want the list,
Oh, I'm-